Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Pedal and Play in Canada. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Ottawa's best bike path, the Osgood Link pathway. So, I biked today about 20 kilometers from Bowesville Station up until Bayview using only bike paths. So let's get into it. Now, full disclosure, I started this ride all the way in Barrhaven, so to get to Bowesville Station, I had to take Earl Armstrong Road, which goes through Riverside South, and let me tell you, that road is straight up dangerous for cyclists. Up until Limebank Station till Bowesville Station, that stretch of Earl Armstrong Road, there's no bike lane, no paved shoulder, just you and 70-kilometer-an-hour traffic flying past your elbow. And then there's this tiny bridge over a creek with zero room. Now, no sidewalk, no shoulder, just a narrow road where you have the choice to take the lane and hope for the best. It's kind of a stretch that makes you wonder if cyclists were even in the room when this was planned. Clearly they weren't. So, to give some context, the Osgood Link pathway is a multi-use trail that follows a formal rail corridor in southern Ottawa. It connects rural communities like Osgood to around Bowesville Station near the city's edge. It's a scenic, quiet, and definitely separated from traffic. And it's a safe alternative to riding on busy roads. Now, this path goes from, as I said, Osgood up until Bowesville, but it actually continues as when the city built Line 2, they continued the path to parallel it up until about South Quay Station. As you're biking along the path, you, right before Trillium Station, hit this beautiful underpass where the Line 2 tracks go under this bridge, which carries a bike path which starts at High Road and Bowesville Road. Now, High Road is basically in the middle of nowhere, and that bike path only really goes to Bowesville Road, then connects to the shoulder there. It's short and might be barely used, but honestly, it's really beautiful. And even if it doesn't serve thousands of daily commuters, it's very peaceful riding on it and well built. And even better, it lets me get lots of cool footage. And then eventually you hit Trillium Station. And it comes up to one of those why is it like this moments, because following the straight bike path, you can't bike straight through, because you've got to detour around the fare paid zone at the bus drop-off zone and at the bus loop. So it makes it a bit weird for the flow of the trail because you got to bike all the way around for bikers and pedestrians. But the bigger issue here is what lies ahead. From just past Leitrim all the way to South Quays, the rail corridor is single-tracked. That means less service, longer rates, and no room for growth, which is basically why we have 12-minute frequencies, because so much of the line is single-tracked. But the worst part is, the new overpass at Leicester Road was only built to fit one track. Not even to fit two tracks, but only build one. So next time, if they want to upgrade service and make it double-tracked, they have to rebuild the bridge and stuff like that. Great consequences come from building great infrastructure. And because along the path, when Line 2 tracks and Line 4 tracks come together, it creates a bit of this kind of intersection. And since the bike trail path is above the tracks, you get a really beautiful vantage point to film and record trains coming through the intersection, basically. But at South Quays, the infrastructure gets better. The big win here is the pedestrian bridge that parallels and is attached to the Line 2 tracks over Hunt Club Road. The best part is it lets you avoid one of the most chaotic roads in the city. Crossing Hunt Club safely on a bike is rare, so this bridge feels like a cheat code, and a small detail is a big comfort upgrade in this area. We need a lot more of these across Ottawa. Now, once you get over that bridge at South Quays, you join onto the Somal Creek pathway, and that's technically where the Osgood Link pathway ends, because you're joining onto the Somal Creek pathway. But that pathway is also really good too, because part of that pathway is the Juno Beach Cycling and Walking Bridge. It's a beautiful bridge, but it goes over, and it's right beside the Airport Parkway. So between going in and out of forest areas and being beside the Airport Parkway, there's a steady stream of highway noise. But there's also good to this trail because it crosses, at grade crossing, the Via Rail corridor on a bike path. So it's really cool to see the tracks up close, and you also get to see a peek of the Somal Creek O-Train flyover, which is really cool. But after that, you're ejected onto Brookfield Sidewalk, which it doesn't actually do that, but since I was trying to use only bike paths to get to Bayview, I had to take that route. So Brookfield's sidewalk, or Brookfield Road, is a pretty uninspiring road, as are most roads. But I tried to navigate through Canada Post massive parking lots, and I looked like a confused and a lost person, which you don't have to do that, but the better move is just to stick to Brookfield, turn right onto Riverside Road. It's not perfect, but eventually you hit the massive Heron and Riverside intersection. If you've never been, it's a multi-lane monstrosity of crosswalks and turning lanes, classic of designed for cars first Ottawa. Once you push through all that chaos, things turn around pretty quickly, and you hit the Vincent Massey Park, where you slide into the Rideau Canal Eastern Pathway, and now it's beautiful, shaded, and relaxing. The path parallels the river until it gets you to the pedestrian bridge that crosses into Carleton University. Now this biking and pedestrian bridge only is right beside Line 2, as the O train station at Carleton is right beside it, and it connects the park to the campus in a very beautiful way. The link feels like it makes biking natural, except it's closed in the winter. Why? I'm pretty sure it's because they don't want to clear snow off of it in the winter. So that's my theory. But once you cross that, you get into Carleton University, and I go to the locks right beside it, and I join onto the Rideau Canal Western Pathway. And now this is peak Ottawa cycling. Smooth, quiet, and car-free, and all the parks and people are sitting there, canal on one side, grass and benches on the other. It's like Ottawa finally decided to chill out. You'll pass joggers, old couples walking dogs, and cyclists who are clearly just here to vibe. And honestly, who can blame them? This is probably my favorite path in the whole city. Eventually, you reach Preston Street where you get exposed to all that car exhaust again. Then you connect to the Trillium pathway. Now this is an underrated part of the city. But first, it's called the Trillium pathway because basically from Dow's Lake up until Bayview, it parallels the Trillium line. So yeah, it's a rare example of transit and biking not just coexisting but actually supporting each other. And a shout out to the stations along the way like Leitrim, Bowesville, South Keys, and even Corso Italia where they all have covered bike parking. Not just a rack and a prayer, it's dry, safe, and makes biking to transit actually viable. Now, once you hit Bayview Station, you might notice that the path keeps going. And it does. It hits Chief William Commanda Bridge. This is hands down the best active transportation crossing in the city. It's a wide, former rail bridge, car-free, and scenic that connects Ottawa to Gatineau like nothing else. It's so good you almost forget it wasn't even meant for us. Like I said, this was a rail bridge. The city spent $20 million turning it into a bike and pedestrian link, and they mostly nailed it. Except when you hit the island in the middle, the path jogs awkwardly around a bunch of leftover train tracks still in the deck. For $20 million, maybe they could have finished the job. But wait, plot twist. In the new transportation master plan, the city is considering reactivating it for trains as part of a Line 2 extension to Gatineau. So enjoy it while you can, because the second someone hears the word light rail and bridge, you know the NIMBY letters are already being drafted. So that's my ride. Bowesville to Bayview plus my crossing into Gatineau. It's a mix of beautiful infrastructure and ugly stroads, but it tells you a lot about where Ottawa is and where it could be when it comes to cycling. Thank you for listening to this episode of Pedal and Plan Canada. Catch us next week.